Hillary done with Bill. Clinton divorce rumors erupt as Epstein subpoena blows marriage apart. Okay, wow. That headline, that specific quote, it just exploded globally back in August 2025, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Thousands of outlets ran with it. It really felt like the final act for this incredibly long-running, very public partnership.
Welcome to Starscope Report. This is where we, Jordan and Jamie, break down all the high-profile drama, the music industry shakeups, the scandals everyone's talking about.
Yep. From red carpet surprises to those viral controversies, we really dive into the stories behind the headlines.
And today, we received a deep dive into that whole 2025 narrative surrounding the Clintons. You know, the one where tabloids everywhere were screaming that divorce was, like, imminent.
But the shocking truth here, and this is what the analysis shows, is that this story isn't really about two people splitting up. It's about a pretty sophisticated media operation.
Exactly. We're talking rumor stacking, decades-old templates being dusted off. It's fascinating stuff.
And we're going to expose the completely fabricated claim they used for clickbait, and then break down the public counter strategy they used.
Right, including that 50th anniversary post that was so calculated. It wasn't just a post, it was more like a strategic proclamation.
Definitely. So let's get into it. The inciting scandal, August 2025. The core rumor really takes shape around August 23rd.
And the claim was that the marriage was, what, hanging by a thread? All because of the explosive fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal? That gave it the weight, I guess.
It did. It absolutely did. See, for a rumor like this to really catch fire globally, you need something external, something high profile that feels like real pressure.
And that pressure point was Bill Clinton's congressional subpoena connected to Epstein.
Precisely. That's what we'd call the news peg.
Okay, explain that. A news peg.
Think of it like a hook, right? A recent verifiable news event, the subpoena, that lets the media hang an old story on it.
So they can dust off an old, probably profitable story template.
Exactly. The Epstein connection, that was the peg. It allowed outlets to say, okay, this time, this pressure, this is the one that finally breaks them, makes the old rumor feel new, feel, plausible.
And the sourcing for all this.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild when you look closely.
It is. The sources we looked at show this cascade effect. You have major international papers like the Hindustan Times, Times of India, and they all explicitly pointed back to one single origin for the claim, Radar Online.
Just Radar Online.
Yep. And Radar Online attributed everything to anonymous insiders, sources close to the couple, or sometimes just another insider.
So wait, the entire global narrative about the end of this major political marriage, it all came down to one unnamed source from a tabloid.
That's basically the takeaway. A single, unnamed, highly questionable source claiming to know their private emotional state. The anonymity is key, really. It lets them print the most shocking stuff possible.
And they really went for shock value with the specifics, didn't they? Hillary was supposedly enraged, humiliated.
Right, and the source claimed she was done, like finally done after the '98 affair, and now seeing their legacies, quote, shredded by the Epstein connection.
There was even that quote, she can't bear to look at him.
And notice the language, how it implies this clear cause and effect. The subpoena causes the rage, which causes the split.
But the really new twist in 2025, the thing that made it, I guess, extra clickable,
was the idea that Hillary was finally prioritizing herself, that she was ready to, and I quote, throw her husband under the bus.
and expose husband's ties to Jeffrey Epstein just to save herself.
That was the real engine this time around. Because think about it. Past rumors usually painted her as, the loyal wife sticking by him.
Right, the long-suffering spouse.
But this reframed her as an active player in his potential downfall. It creates this really dynamic, almost vengeful drama, super clickable.
So the structure makes sense, journalistically speaking, even if the sourcing is shaky. Epstein's subpoena is A,
Leads to Hillary's humiliation and rage, that's B.
which leads to the divorce/self-preservation move, C.
Exactly. It works because it connects something real, the subpoena, to this plausible internal chaos. It feels like it could be true.
Okay, but then the narrative takes this really odd turn, right? The second claim started popping up about a shocking new appearance.
Yeah, this is where it gets weird. It seems like the narrative needed her to, physically show the strain.
But why? Why does a divorce rumor need a physical appearance element?
Well, it seems like a narrative void needed filling. We looked really hard through all the source material you gave us, and there's just nothing, zero factual description anywhere supporting a shocking new appearance. That exact phrase, it's completely absent from any, reliable report of her public events around that time.
Which is funny because the reality was so normal.
Yeah.
Her actual public sighting was at the Clinton Global Initiative meeting in late September 25.
Right, and People magazine did a photo feature.
Right.
And you know what they noted?
Something dramatic. Gaunt. Stressed.
Nope. Her colorful looks. Basically, she wore bright clothes. That was it.
So the shocking appearance was just made up.
It looks like a classic media trope, doesn't it? Especially for high-profile women. When you can't see the internal crisis, you focus on the body, invent a physical sign of distress. It's a visual hook for the story.
It actually reminds me of that thing Hillary herself said years ago about changing her hairstyle to knock stories off the front page.
Exactly. She knew how that mechanism worked. The public's focus on her appearance was always this readily available lever to pull, or for others to pull.
So this is what you meant by rumor stacking.
Precisely. You take the unverified personal crisis, the divorce rumor, which is probably recycled anyway, and you stack it with this baseless physical claim, the shocking appearance.
And each one makes the other seem more believable.
Right. It increases the sensationalism, makes it seem like there's more evidence, gets more clicks. It's a way to build a bigger story out of potentially very little.
Okay, so that's how the rumor got built.
Mm-hmm.
But the counteroffensive, how they fought back, that's maybe even more interesting.
Oh, definitely. Because they didn't just sit back. The Clintons rolled out this timeline of very public, verifiable actions that directly contradicted those anonymous claims from August. It was strategic.
The timeline really is key, isn't it? Because the claim was, she can't bear to look at him, she's done.
Yet, less than a month later, end of September 2025, there she is, jointly hosting the CGI annual meeting, alongside Bill and Chelsea, too.
And CGI isn't just like a quick photo op. It's a big, multi-day international event. Requires tons of coordination.
Absolutely. You simply don't co-host a major global summit like that if you supposedly can't stand to be in the same room as the other person. That appearance alone, just them doing their jobs together, powerfully undercut the tabloid narrative.
But that was more passive. Then they went active, right, in the 50th anniversary.
Very active. October 11th, 2025. This wasn't just, a happy anniversary post. This was a coordinated PR move. A strategic proclamation aimed squarely at shutting down that rumor cycle.
Both of them posted tributes, wedding photos, talked about being heartfelt and loving. But it was Hillary's wording that really stood out in the analysis.
Yes, she wrote, "I wanted to navigate the ups and downs and in-betweens with you."
Ups and downs. That seems carefully chosen.
Extremely. It's what we'd call narrative inoculation. The downs, it subtly acknowledges the past troubles, right? The Lewinsky scandal, all the public difficulties people remember.
But how does admitting the bad stuff help fight current rumors? Wouldn't people just say, see, it's always been rocky?
But she reframes it. By acknowledging the downs, she's basically saying, look, we know it hasn't always been easy. We chose to navigate that together for 50 years. It preempts the criticism.
So it makes the current speculation seem like just another down they're navigating as planned.
Exactly. It integrates their difficult history into this narrative of a shared, chosen journey. It implies resilience, not imminent collapse. It makes the current rumor seem less like a final straw and more like just part of the ongoing story they signed up for.
And there was a technical aspect, too, wasn't there? Something about the comments.
Yes, this is crucial. The sources noted the accusation or observation, really, that they disabled the comments on their posts.
Why does that matter?
Because it gives them complete narrative control. If comments were open, they'd be instantly flooded with trolls, critics, people rehashing the August rumors, the Epstein stuff.
It would turn their anniversary message into an argument.
Precisely. By shutting off comments, they changed it from a potential conversation or shouting match into a one-way broadcast, a controlled statement of unity. It was a proclamation that couldn't easily be challenged in that space.
So stepping back,
Yeah.
This whole 2025 episode, as dramatic as it felt, it wasn't really new, was it?
Not at all. It's a perennial narrative, a decades-long media template that's proven very profitable, apparently, and the language used, it's almost identical to stuff from over 20 years ago.
You found specific examples of that?
Oh, yeah. Check the headlines. 1999, you had the National Enquirer. Hillary demands divorce. Okay, standard tabloid fare. But look at 2001.
What happened then?
A source was quoted saying Hillary was, quote, absolutely livid with rage. She's through with him once and for all.
Wait. Livid with rage, through with him once and for all. That sounds exactly like the 2025 claims of her being enraged and done.
It's functionally identical language, isn't it? The core emotional beats, rage, humiliation, finality, they just recycled them. The divorce story is the template.
So the Epstein scandal wasn't the cause of the rumor. It was just the excuse to run the old story again.
It was the news peg, the timely hook they needed to justify bringing back the profitable, familiar narrative. It sells because it plays on the public's long memory of their past marital strains.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this whole deep dive for everyone listening. The huge media storm in August 2025. It was basically a mashup.
Right, a composite. You had manufactured claims, like that shocking appearance.
Stacked on top of recycled, decades-old rumors about divorce.
And this whole narrative construction was then systematically taken apart by a very deliberate, very coordinated public counteroffensive from the Clintons.
Using their joint work appearances, like CGI, and then that very calculated 50th anniversary message, complete with turning off the comments.
Yeah, the whole thing is really a fascinating case study in media management. It shows how this long-term public partnership uses strategy to handle these recurring storms of speculation. The marriage seems to be the constant. It's the rumor cycle that fluctuates.
Which leaves us with a final thought, I guess. If this kind of marriage drama narrative is such a persistent, profitable thing for the media, what does that really say about us? About the public's appetite for scandal versus stability when it comes to famous figures? Something to chew on. You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.